Donald Trump has spent the last few days abandoning, attacking, and alienating our allies in whatever way he possibly can. He doesn't care if it's a trade war or ceding ground in a war to a murderous dictator in Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump is on a spree of throwing our allies under the bus. And of course, his number one target is President Zelenskyy, who is not shaken by Donald Trump because, unlike Trump, he is not a coward. He is a real leader, and he is uniting the world around him. Much to Donald Trump's dismay, Zelenskyy is blowing up his plan to really just try to extort all of Ukraine and uniting the world behind him. And it's making Trump pretty furious. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into the Trump meltdown over President Zelenskyy, I want to check out two clips from him. One talking about how the rest of the world is supporting Ukraine, and the other on his relationship with Donald Trump.
And we need to meet as soon as possible to define the terms of peace and security guarantees. Our teams are already working productively with the U.S. on economic agreement, which we hope to sign in Washington. And President Trump, we would really like to hear from you, because all our people, all our families are very worried. Will there be support from America? Will America be the leader of the free world? And I want to be very honest with you. For our people, for life in general, it's so important that American support, American assistance remains. And really, I believe we can be just as effective in securing real guarantees for peace. Remain outside NATO if we head to the allies. And this is immediate threats right now, not from the very start of this war. We have wanted peace, and now more than ever, we believe that real and lasting peace is possible if we stand together, of course. And it's essential that we work together so that when we negotiate with Russia, the strongest defenders of freedom are at the table: America, Europe, and the Ukraine. And Ukraine, this is where a real peace deal can happen. Is at his weakest when we are united and at our strongest. We all know his strengths, and we hope, Mr. President, that it will help make peace through strengths a reality, a peace based on security guarantees from America, from Europe, and all who can protect military, economic, and political security guarantees.
The President?
My relationship with President Trump? It never was in such best way.
I have really hated having to see President Zelenskyy tiptoe around Donald Trump's feelings. And like these Republicans, these just spineless cowards saying, well, you know, if Zelenskyy wants our help, you know, maybe he should be nicer to Donald Trump. You shouldn't hurt his feelings. Is that how this is done? Really? Like we have that much of a petulant child in the White House? Like, of course we do. But it's just sad to see here. But President Zelenskyy, right there, how's your relationship with Donald Trump? I'm not going to say it's great. It's not good. I love that. I love the few and far between moments where he's just like, I'm just tired of this guy. He is the worst person in the world. I think we all know this. But as we saw in that conversation with Zelenskyy and Trudeau, the world is uniting behind him. Europe is ready to step up. Canada is ready to step up to continue to support this effort. And then Donald Trump looks pretty impotent. If Europe steps up and says, yeah, we're going to keep fighting back alongside Ukraine, what does that do for Donald Trump? Makes him look pretty weak. And that is why he is going after Zelenskyy, acting ridiculous, and throwing this tantrum right here.
One of the things we're looking at with President Zelenskyy is having the security of their assets. They have assets underground, rare earth and other things, but primarily rare earth. And we want to have security. Really, we want security because, as you know, Europe is putting up much less money than us, NATO, Europe, call it whatever you want. And we're at probably 300 billion plus, and they're at probably, the real number is 100 billion. That's a lot of money, but it's 200 billion less than us, and there's an ocean in between. And they need it more than us, so we're asking them to equalize and get even. But we're also asking President Zelenskyy for the security of, we're putting all this money up, and we're saying, where does it stop? And yet, we want to see it out to an end. We want to see it end.
The art of the deal, I guess, is just actually the art of the extortion. This is all Donald Trump has been focused on, his rare earth. We love the rare earth. I honestly don't think he knows what he's talking about, but it's not surprising that the rare earth that Trump wants so badly is incredibly important material for, you guessed it, electric car batteries. Yeah, I guess it's all coming together. The plan is pretty clear. But there's something that Trump said there at the end, which, as always, reveals just how much of a moron he is. We have an ocean between us? You think that's the only thing that prevents war? Have you heard of boats? Have you heard of nukes? Planes? Have you heard of cyber warfare? Do you not understand these things? Do you not know what a ship is? Do we need to cover... remember when we did like man, camera, TV... woman, elephant, whatever, like Trump had to draw and point out things for his dementia test. Do we need to go over boats with this guy? Is this the status of our president? He doesn't understand getting across water. He's just a moron. He is so stupid. And he's embarrassing us. He is embarrassing us. And Lawrence O'Donnell did a great job calling that out, kind of breaking it all down in a clip that I think we should check out right here.
He actually reached out, President of France reached out, grabbed the arm of the American president to stop him from telling a lie about France and the rest of the countries of Europe. So Donald Trump's response to being corrected on his lie was to simply tell the lie again. They get their money back. When President Macron finished speaking, Donald Trump just told the lie again. So on the day when Donald Trump officially sinks the presidency on the international stage lower than it has ever been, by not only surrendering leadership of the free world at the United Nations, but standing against the free world, then right there in the Oval Office, Donald Trump is humiliated and exposed in a way that no previous president ever could be, because no previous president would be pathological enough to try to tell a lie like that right in front of the person he's lying about. And no previous president could possibly be stupid enough to try to tell a lie like that. But, as our first guest tonight has written, quote, "The divide in politics today is between unreality and reality." Yale professor Timothy Snyder wrote that. Donald Trump constantly represents unreality. His followers constantly prove they share that same unreality with Donald Trump. They are unreachable by reality. They are unreachable by the reality presented today by the French president. Trump's followers will never see what the French president did to Donald Trump in the Oval Office today. And if they did see it, they wouldn't understand it. And Donald Trump knows that, which is why, after the French president catches him in a lie, Donald Trump just tells the lie again. President Macron tried to break through to Trump followers by appearing on Fox at the end of the day.
Today is clearly the anniversary of the beginning of the aggression war of Russia in Ukraine. They invaded Ukraine 3 years ago. We want peace. And I think the initiative of President Trump is a very positive one. But my message was to say, be careful, because we need something substantial for Ukraine, but for the security of Europe and France. And second, let's work together on the future to preserve security guarantees, meaning to be sure that this peace will be respected by Russia.
The now powerless Republican senior senator Mitch McConnell, who, when he was in the Senate leadership, enabled Donald Trump in every way that he possibly could, issued a statement today saying refusing to acknowledge Russia as the undeniable and unprovoked aggressor is more than an unseemly moral equivalency. It reflects a gross misunderstanding of the nature of negotiations and leverage. Blame for this human catastrophe rests solely on Vladimir Putin. Here's how we know. If Russian forces laid down their arms, Europe would be at peace. If Ukrainian forces laid down theirs, Putin's aims would not stop with Kyiv. Mistaking this fact is as embarrassing as it is costly. Without a clear and resolute commitment to the leadership and order that underpins our prosperity and security, America's adversaries will receive exactly what they hope for. There is no question. The entire world is watching. Speaking of embarrassing, in the joint press conference with President Macron, Donald Trump was asked about his threatened tariffs against Canada and Mexico.
The tariffs are going forward on time, on schedule. This is an abuse that took place for many, many years. And I'm not even blaming the other countries that did this. I blame our leadership for allowing it to happen. I mean, you know, who can blame them if they made these great deals with the United States, took advantage of the United States on manufacturing, on just about everything. Every aspect that you could imagine they took advantage of. I look at some of these agreements, I'd read them at night, and I'd say, who would ever sign a thing like this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Who would sign something so bad for America? I think the control room actually has a picture of who signed it. Let's see. Ah, yeah, there he is. That's the guy who signed the current trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. He did it the first time he was president.
It is tough to watch America be subjected to having our reputation tarnished on the world stage by this buffoon every single day. It is sad. And it is sad for our allies that this is what they have to deal with. But hopefully they are able to push through for the next 4 years and do whatever they can. Oh, it's disappointing. I hate this guy. And we're just going to have to call him out. Is what we're going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.